this?
Sure.
Why the fuck not, right?
Oh, God.
You gonna make it?
Yeah, dude, I just ate a bunch of Leanne's lasagna, so I'm just like burping up cheese.
All right. Okay, everybody. Welcome to the Woods Cast. I am Justin Woods, and with me, per the usual, is my younger, dumber brother who has a girl's name, Shay. How you doing?
I'm wonderful.
Yeah.
That is all fake news.
Actually, I would like anybody listening to this podcast that is named Shay, that is not a girl, to email us at thewoodscast@1776@gmail.com.
Now, see, that's not fair because nobody's going to email us no matter what you ask them to email us about.
Guess what? It'll prove my point, not yours. I had to listen to
you know what? Somebody, I will pay you $10 if that's your name and you're a dude.
I had to listen to your 3-minute rant about how mom and dad had me and said, well, they could do better.
I was pretty drunk. I don't remember what I said, but I'm sure it was great.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. All right, well, Shay is he's on remote. We sent Shay to a remote from Florida.
Yeah, live from Florida,
where everybody who when the temperature drops below 50, you weak meat bags have to call a national emergency.
I saw a lady riding her bike in a full sweatshirt and hoodie. It was 75 degrees and sunny today, and it looked like she was driving into a snowstorm. You may notice a difference in the quality of my luscious voice and perhaps a nice cricket background here. This is more of a Back to Nature podcast. I'm on the back porch, and so you're going to get a little bit of wind, and you're going to get a little bit of crickets, and I want you to just kind of
roll
with that, everybody. It'll be nice.
Yeah. Shay's down in Florida visiting our father, who is, I guess, still old.
Yes. Actually, that's been my favorite thing is listening to him bitch about, quote, all the fucking old people down here. and then his wife's like, Scott, you're 67. You're one of those fucking old people.
Well, this is also the man that when we would go to Wrightsville Beach for vacation, we'd stay for 2 weeks. He would show up, unpack, pour himself a beer, sit on the porch, and watch the other people unpack and go, fucking tourists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Shay's in Florida. I am still in the frozen tundra. Shay is sitting in a nice, what did you say, 75 degrees and sunny?
Right now it's like 68, 69, but it's nighttime now, yeah.
It's cold as balls here. I'm doing the podcast in my bathrobe because it's comfy, and I don't care. So we are recording this on, what the fuck is today? Today's Monday, didn't Shay? Yeah, Monday, February 25th.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Sounds about right. I am on my 4th beer.
Well, I've been drinking all day. But now here's the thing is that those of you who live at higher altitudes, you will notice when you come down to sea level, you can drink a lot more. I crushed almost an entire case of Yingling by myself, or a 12-pack last night by myself, and it barely fazed me. So I've stepped it up to beer and liquor, which, I guess isn't really any different than any other day of the week, but that's where we're at.
We'll see how that goes, right?
Yeah.
I was telling Rachel the other day, like, I drink, when the doctor asks, like, how many drinks do you have a day, and I tell them they get all butthurt, but, like, I can have 3 beers just making dinner, like, not even sitting to eat dinner, just, like, making dinner, walking around the house, doesn't even faze me. It's gotten to a point where I don't consider that I drank the night before unless I had liquor.
Yeah.
Like, I have caught myself sitting in the kitchen, like, watching the news, like, watching Maddow or fucking Sean Hannity or something, with a beer in my hand, thinking, man, do I want to drink tonight or not?
Yeah.
And take a sip.
There's probably some people that are more versed in the ways of medical science that would argue your definition of that.
Yeah. There are some people that would be very butthurt about that. But anyway, I'm on my 5th beer. Shay's had several today. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
We are in the 766th day of the Trump administration. Our drinking and those two things are tied together. We are in the 258th day of being totally free of the North Korea crisis. Shay, I hope you are drinking to our continued health and safety.
I sleep better every night.
Yeah, we are just a couple days from the Summit 2 Dark Territories, I'm calling it. That's going to happen on Wednesday, I think.
Oh, is that this week? I didn't know it was
that's this week. And it lines up with the Cohen testimony, which is kind of what I want to talk to, because I don't think Trump's going to sleep for like 3 days there, because he can't fucking stop pay attention to it. We are in the 31st day of a working government. I mean, we made it a whole month now. I'm pretty fucking impressed. Everybody that got the 800,000 people that got stiffed out of, what was it? 3 paychecks, whatever. They got 2 in a row. They're fucking pumped.
Yeah, well, I mean, unless you're a government contractor, then you're boned.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah, because the contractors aren't getting paid. But don't you jump on my laptop, cat. Continue.
That was one of the most minute things they could have done. Because I mean, what would it have been, like $10 million in the grand scheme of the
some shit like that? Yeah,
something stupid. But they just decide not to do it, which is fucking bullshit. Speaking of popularity, Trump's hanging in there at 44%. They haven't done the Gallup yet. 538 still got him at 42.7%. Those numbers aren't going anywhere. I don't know. We'll see if he can win the re-election with that. Fun stuff. Oh shit! I'm looking at the wrong. Okay, so today on the pod, I'm just looking in the wrong place of our outline. Sorry. So today we're gonna, like we always do, fun stuff. Catch up on what Shay and I are nerding off to. We got the North Korea summit, like I said. We've got no Mueller report this week. Shay and I talked about that before. A lot of people were like really making their pants tight over that, but I don't think it's gonna matter.
I don't think that's going to be one of those things that you like. All right, it's coming out tomorrow. It's just going to drop.
Yeah,
like, I feel like you're just going to wake up and see that it got dropped, and then or that it's concluded or whatever. And then comes the whole thing of whether or not they make any of it public because they don't have to, and then if they do, they can redact the shit out of it.
Yeah, well, we've got to talk about that because that's multi-layered, and it's not the trigger that every liberal wants it to be, of course. And we finally have some rulings and some clarity in that North Carolina ninth House district where there's a bunch of voter fraud.
They got to do another election, right?
Yeah. I love that. We're going to talk about that. And then the last thing, if we make it to it, and I don't know if I really give a shit about these people or not, but I care about the fact that everybody seems to feel they're owed an apology nowadays with the Smollett and Sandman thing. So,
what is that?
Well, we'll get there, but Jesse Smollett, everybody seems to want an apology because Jesse Smollett
the fake hate crime kid from Prague. Yeah, all right.
And I would like to tell a lot of people to fuck off. All right, so Shay, you're hanging fun stuff. Shay is hanging out in Florida with her dad, just catching up with his dad. Apparently, you've been watching a shitload of Justified.
Oh yeah, it's been a good time. I need myself a "What Would Marshall Gibbons Do" T-shirt. Oh, yeah. If they don't exist, I'm gonna make them. And that is just a great show of door kicking and shooting people in the face. Due process be damned.
Yeah, it's we were talking.
It's like The Shield. I think there's even some of the same people involved.
Yeah,
I mean, I know some of the actors are, but writing staff.
Walton, I don't know how far you got into it. Walton Goggins plays one of the main bad guys. So
Boyd.
Crowder, that's right. But yeah, so like the whole premise is you got a quick shooting lawman from Kentucky. His dad was a big was in with the what they call the
Dixie Mafia.
Yeah, he was big in the Dixie. I mean, these are just jackasses that are running guns and running weed and running whatever they can run to make some money. Well, his dad was a big fucking just douchebag criminal. He goes off and becomes a federal marshal and finds out that he has the uncanny gift of drawing and firing pretty quick. Like, he's amazing with a handgun. So throughout the whole series, it's a lot of him just drawing and blowing dudes right out of their shoes, and it's got some of the best back and forth. Like
it really does, and that's one of my favorite things. Like I was talking with Dad about this. Like if you're from that part of the country, like the way that people look, the houses, the towns. It's not actually shot in Kentucky. I mean, some of the opening shots and certain things are, but it's shot in L.A. But they capture the vibe of that part of the country really well. Especially the sound where it's just a constant hum of cicadas in the background.
Oh yeah.
But the thing I love about it is there's no hillbilly that cooks meth like that speaks that eloquently. Like that is Shakespearean shit that these guys are dropping as they're taking off their clothes to expose their white power tattoos. It's pretty funny.
They always make fun of Boyd Crowder because he uses 18 words to say two.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, I'm sorry because I learned to eloquent when I was in the army. Just because you do not know my vocabulary, he just blah 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 blah." But yeah, it's basically The Shield. If you actually gave a shit whether because Raylan Givens shoots a lot of people when he shot them, but you don't really care. But in The Shield, you're like, man, I can't wait till they get these fuckers. It's got some of the best like back and forth one-liners. Like I don't know how many episodes you got into it, but there's one where he just like throws a bullet at some guy, and he's like, "What the fuck's this?" He's like, "It's a warning. Next time, it's gonna be coming a lot faster." And the guy's like, "Oh,
I haven't got there yet." Yeah, that's the one I just watched was where he gets into a bar fight and Marshall Gibbons tells these two guys to please keep it down, and when they ask him why, he said because he didn't order assholes with his whiskey. And then they just beat the shit out of him behind the bar.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he goes to see his girlfriend later, and she's like, "Aren't you too old to be fighting?" He's like, "I'm too old to be losing."
Yeah.
No, there's just a shit ton of those that are real fun.
It's fun. I mean, basically each episode's like a little mini western. Like they're a lot of fun.
One of the best, and this is probably one of my favorite little not Waylon. What the hell's his name? Why do I keep saying that?
Raylan.
It's Raylan. Thank you.
Raylan Givens.
Raylan Givens. Played by Timothy Oliphant, who's one of my favorite actors. So like later in the series, they've got one of the Dixie Mafia enforcers come in, and to blend in, he dresses as a local county deputy, sheriff's deputy.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes around murdering people, and everybody kind of gives him the differential, opens their door for him because he's a sheriff's deputy, and then he murders somebody, and so it comes to the point where like he and Raylan are in the same room. They're trying to arrest kind of the same guy. The fake deputy sheriff wants him so he can go murder the fuck out of him, and Raylan actually needs to take him into jail, and they're like, all right, well, he's like, thanks, deputy, I'll take him from here, and he's like, oh, actually, no, he's mine. And like gives Raylan an order, and he's like, "Wait a minute, did you just give me an order, motherfucker? You're a sheriff's deputy. I'm a Texas. What are they?
U.S. Marshal.
U.S. Marshal. I was gonna say Texas Ranger. That was fucked up. And they look at each other and they kind of stare each other down, and they both just instantly go for their guns. And Raylan just blows him the fuck out of his shoes, and he's like standing over this dude in a deputy's uniform. And the first thing he says is like, "Man, I hope I got that right." And he's like, yeah. So that's fun. I'm glad you're getting into that. Speaking of shows that we like that aren't around anymore, Netflix has officially canned The Punisher and Jessica Jones. Were you into either of those?
I mean, I have seen the first few episodes of Punisher and Jessica Jones, but I haven't finished either one. I'll probably still watch them at this point, but I'm torn because they were good, but at the same time, there's just so much of that crap, I just don't care.
Well, that is a problem I'm running into, is that there's so much of that stuff out there. Like, the backlog of nonsense superhero stuff. Like I sat down and watched like 4 episodes of that Young Justice Outsiders the other day, and I was just giddy as shit. It was great, but I still got another like 10 episodes or what. But like you'd fall behind, Like there's also reports now that they might cancel Supergirl because the viewership is dropping. But like Netflix canceled Daredevil when it was one of its top 3 shows.
Yeah.
Punisher, they said that the viewership has fallen off in the 2nd season, whatever. I thought Jessica Jones in both seasons was a much smarter superhero show.
Yeah, it was better.
Any of them?
Yeah. Well, it's more like a noir detective show where the detective can throw a car.
Yeah, it's those are all super fun, but like the day after that they can and apparently Jessica Jones has a season 3 that's in the can. They're still going to air. I didn't even know that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so they got a season 3 coming. So apparently Hulu and Netflix are going to fight over who gets to air that, which that makes perfect sense. I mean, Hulu seems to be cleaning up for everything that Disney doesn't want to fucking put on, and Netflix. I think the Punisher. They'd both be perfect on FX or FXX, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah. I do know that Disney is going to keep producing Marvel-based shows. It's just going to be a different creative team. I can't remember the name, but basically you've got 2 people, the guy in charge of Marvel TV, and then was it Paul Feig or whatever, the big mastermind. All the Marvel TV shows that Disney's going to produce are going to be more closely tied to the movies and probably have characters and actors from the Marvel universe in them, so it's more consistent, because they started out that way, but as the movies started getting cranked out, they kind of diverged from like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that shit. So I don't know, we'll see where it goes. I'm sure I'll watch whatever garbage they shit out. So
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, oh god, who was it that announced? Was it Hulu that just announced a new batch of Marvel shows? And one of them, it was all that like more kid friendly stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like Howard the Duck, and everybody's like, oh man, Howard the Duck's gonna be awesome. I'm like, no, I mean, no, it's a quirky character. Like if y'all saw the '80s movies. You back me up on this.
That shit is great.
God damn it. That was weird. Like, there is just a series of about 24 movies that happened between 1981 and 89 where those people that made those movies are still alive. They need to be brought in a room and just asked, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm sure. Howard. There was some logic behind Howard the Duck, but that
So
is a
there's a
creepy.
lot of cocaine behind it too.
Yeah, that's a creepy movie too. Because I like,
Yeah.
I don't think she bangs the duck, but it's
She bangs
implied
the
that
duck.
she just flat out bangs him, right? I can't remember. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
She
And
bangs a
so,
duck.
okay, that's nice.
I don't mean to like harp on the point, but
She bangs a duck.
she
A
bangs a
alien.
duck. Yeah. Okay, so
We'll give her the credit. At least the duck is anthropomorphic.
yeah, oh yeah. And he's some kind of an alien duck, so
Yeah.
whatever. We're not here to kink shame, okay? We're not here to kink shame.
No.
Yeah. All right. So have you heard about the Captain Marvel trolls landing on the Rotten Tomatoes?
No.
So apparently there has been a concerted effort to downvote Captain Marvel. Now, granted, this movie has not come out until the 8th?
Something like that. It's
March 8th? Yeah. So this movie has not even come out yet, and people are already logging in and giving it negative reviews and saying shit like it's just a social justice warrior movie, and why does Brie Larson have to be a chick? I would answer back that she is actually because she is a woman.
Isn't Captain Marvel a woman in the comics too? Like,
Yes. They changed it like back in the fucking like early '80s. I don't know what the fuck. All these neckbeards weren't even fucking alive when Captain Marvel was a dude. I don't know what the problem is. It's just like it's 2019 and we can't have anything nice. That's it.
That's what it boils down to.
Yeah. And apparently they're doing it to the new Star Wars movie too. I don't know. Like right now, Captain Marvel is at a 52% audience rating, and it has not even fucking hit theaters yet. It hasn't even been a screening yet.
No.
It's at 52%, and that's below the 2008's Incredible Hulk, which if we remember how shitty that was.
That was the Ang Lee. Was that the Ang Lee one, or was that the one that's technically in the Marvel universe?
That one is the one that's technically in the Marvel universe.
Okay, with Edward Norton.
Yeah, the Ang Lee one was like 2000. It's just called Hulk.
Hulk. That's right. Okay.
God, that was weird.
It's weird. You know what? If you go back and watch it and don't pick it apart too hard, it's kind of fun. Like the way that they shoot it and how it breaks up into comic book panels that move across the screen. It's pretty fun. Like the ending is really stupid, but I don't know. I caught it on TV a few weeks ago and watched almost the entire thing, and I remember liking it more than when I originally saw it in theaters.
Well, like any shitty movie, and we actually need to do an entire podcast where like we have on like two or three other people, and each of us bring 5 shitty movies, and we talk about why they're shitty, but we love them. But there's this weird formula that even the shittiest movie has these great, 10 or 15 minute, segments of it. And there were a lot of really good parts of the Hulk. I thought there was the part where they were trying to make him. Or they were trying to drill into his brain to get the Hulk part out so they could weaponize it. And he, of course, Hulks out, right? So they're drilling into the back of his skull. They've got him in this tank. They think he's unconscious. And as soon as, that drill hits bone, he wakes up. And, of course, he starts to Hulk out. And his bone density just, goes exponential. So the drill just fucking shorts out. And so he just, hulks out of this thing. And they're shooting him. And you're watching him get shot with bullets and watching his skin dimple.
Yeah, it looks really. I remember that. Yeah,
that and he just cool. Gets madder. But then, like the next scene, he catches a rocket, bites the head off of it, and spits it at a fucking helicopter like a moron.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like there was literally 3 minutes between that awesome scene and you just going, "What the shit?"
Yeah.
So that'll be fun, but yeah, it's 2019. We can't have anything nice. That's
it's so funny too that the people are doing that, because if you swap out the fact that Captain Marvel's a woman, I mean, this looks like every other Marvel movie and every other trailer they've done. You know exactly what you're in for. Like it's not. Yeah, it's just. I don't know. It's just all the cucks are angry about how turned on they are by Captain America's rippling pecs, and it makes them angry.
Well, and they're just. Like, if you were to put Brie Larson in a bikini and have her cheer on, Iron Man, they would want to just fuck the shit out of her. But the fact that they made her a powerful center of a heroic story, they're like, well, this is horseshit. You're just trying to make me less manly. The fact that I haven't touched a boob in 18 years is your fault because...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't get it. It's dry humping this whole incel thing that, I don't know.
I really hope, like, I mean, her whole shtick is that she's one of, if not the most powerful character in the Marvel universe. So it's going to be real fun when inevitably she pops up in the next Infinity Avengers movie and starts smacking Thanos around for fun. I hope that's what you get to see, because that'd be fun.
Yeah, they're in the Marvel universe. They released a new Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's like, I want to say it's like 6 or 7 of the top 10 heavy hitters. I'd have to look up all of them, but it's like Captain Marvel and Groot. Groot's one of the heavy hitters in the Marvel universe. Everybody doesn't know that he can increase his strength until he's dies, I think, or something insane like that. People like Nova, like these people that are like planet killers, are now Guardians of the Galaxy. And it's always fun to watch them wail on each other. That's why we love that. What was it? Superman versus Shazam.
Yep.
Any iteration of that, I'll watch the shit out of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh. Okay. Oh, speaking of which, did you pay any attention to the Oscars?
No. I never watched the Oscars.
Well, neither do I. But apparently, Black Panther won 3 Oscars, which is set the record for any superhero movie. Which, okay, great. But the funny thing I saw, just speaking of comic books and shit like that, is like there's a lot of buzz today on the social media. You got the face bases and the my books about how, damn it, Venom. Who played?
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Thank you. Tom Hardy should have gotten an Oscar for Venom. Now, I enjoyed the shit out of Venom, but if you think Tom Hardy should have gotten an Oscar for Venom, then
no,
I don't know what the hell you think of, like, what the hell you think the Oscars are about, because then I guess Steven Seagal deserves like 3 Oscars. Then I don't know what the fuck you all are talking about.
Well, people tend to look at the Oscars as like they think the stuff they like the most should win, not what's necessarily the best. Like, I understand my favorite movie of the year is probably not objectively the best movie of the year, but whatever. Like I said, I've never given a shit about the Oscars.
Well, nobody really does except the people that want to win the Oscars.
Yeah.
But on the highlight, Into the Spider-Verse won Best Animated Flick.
I did see that, which is really cool, and it did really well. Excuse me, and it got recognition. So I'm hoping that kind of shows like, hey guys, look, you can make an animated movie and get critical acclaim for it, and it can be about Spider-Man. Yeah. So, because I'd love to see some of the crazier shit get represented as animated movies.
Oh yeah, I mean we've said for what, the last 10 years, Shay, that we need to just stop fucking around with all of this. Like, well, one of our biggest things, and we're gonna do a podcast on it, is the Dark Tower, Stephen King's Dark Tower saga. We've said for years that everybody just needs to stop fucking around and get all the people that did the 1990s Spawn cartoon to do the Dark Tower, and you're done.
Yeah, it's especially when you're looking at like most modern, especially specifically comic book movies, like those are mostly they almost look animated anyway. Like there's so much CG and so much of it's in front of a green screen. They're basically animated. It's just it's not stylized. It's like excuse me, it's photorealistic. So like that's what people keep saying. They're like, I'm really mad they're making a live action Lion King. No, they're not. They're making an animated Lion King. It's just photorealistic. It's not pen and ink. So fucking what do you think, they have a talking lion they're filming? You're an asshole.
Yeah. You think they sat there and trained that lion to like do all the things it needed to do for the movie? No. Yeah. I'm also kind of butthurt about that. Like, why do you got to redo the Lion King? What the fuck?
Oh, I'll be honest with you. Of all those remakes, I don't really give a shit. But the cast for the Lion King is really fucking good. Like, there's a lot of good people in there. Like, fucking Seth Rogen as Timon is perfect. Like, there's so many I can't remember who is the monkey, the priest monkey that. I can't remember his name, but like they've got someone. Everyone is basically perfectly cast, so I'm hoping it's decent. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, that Disney hasn't been doing so hot in the animation department lately, so they're kind of dipping into their reserve. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I have to.
Aside
agree,
from Pixar, obviously.
Yeah. When I heard they were going to redo the Lion King, my first thought was, why the fuck do we have to do this? And then I like you said, I looked through who they cast to be all the voice actors. I was like, damn,
it's pretty good. Yeah, it could be good. Now, on the other side of that, have you seen the live-action trailer for the new version of Aladdin? Will Smith is horrifying as the genie. I don't understand.
What is up with that?
I don't understand the decision to make him look like Will Smith. You could have easily just done an animated genie and then had done Will Smith's voice.
Right. Well, but
Like,
also it doesn't look like Will Smith. It looks like Will Smith's face superimposed on a fatter, different person.
it's very strange.
Yeah.
And, I would love for that one to be good because I think that could be a lot of fun too. But everything I've seen from that, even like the early trailers and stuff, it just kind of looks like a made-for-TV movie so far.
Yeah. It's haunting. It's
really, it's haunting.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre. All right. Okay. What else we got going on here? Okay, yeah, like we said, we are just a couple of days from the second North Korea summit. What we here on the pod are calling the Summit 2, Dark Territory. It's likely to be a shit show mainly because Donald Trump needs this to be a campaign event and he just needs it to work, and North Korea knows that, so they will promise anything to get everything, and we're pretty sure it's going to go that way.
Yeah, well, it's probably going to be a lot like the second one. All I'm saying is I definitely expect if there's a coin, you got to buy it.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, the coins that I purchased for us were $19.95. They went on sale right after it was announced that they had coins because everybody made fun of the coins so bad. They're like, well, how about we put it on sale? And then after the summit went off without nobody detonating a nuke, the coin rocketed to $100 a coin.
Wow.
So that's a 200% on our investment right there.
Hey, Brett, thank you. Basically, I might as well retire now. I'm going to stop looking for work.
Right. So, but the reason people are worried about this, so staff has apparently tried to warn Trump that North Korea is going to agree to anything he says just to make this like some kind of great, this great presser. I have people like messaging me on the Facebooks and the my pages, they're like, well, what do you want, Justin? Like, we've done the same thing for 30 years and got nowhere. It's like, well, he hasn't detonated a nuke yet, but why don't we try trying to dry hump a Nobel Peace Prize just to make this dictator. Like, this is the first president in the history of the United States that has sat down and signed in the first bullshit agreement. Shay, you and I could have written it up in an hour. It was not specific. It was not.
That's what I'm going to be curious to see is because one of the biggest critiques coming out of that one was like basically it was just Trump just sitting down saying, all right, everything's good to go, and then there was no real paperwork or any kind of framework or anything like that. So what I expect to see some superficially fancy document on a table somewhere at some point with the photo op.
Well, like, Trump needs to walk away saying something like, I ended the Korean War.
Yeah.
And that'd be fine. I mean, that's honestly paperwork at this point.
Yeah.
Ending the Korean War, and that's fine. I'd give him that. But the thing that kills me is I got all these MAGA chuds that are blowing up my Facebook saying, like, what's your problem? I was like, my problem is you're giving him credit for things he hasn't done yet. And, you called Barack Obama a pussy for dealing with Kim Jong-un in a similar way.
Well, and then let's not forget, I'm going to, put on my whataboutism goggles. Let's not fucking forget that during Obama's campaign, he specifically made a point to say, like, I would sit down without conditions to talk to dictators because no one's done it before, and they fucking tore him apart for it.
Oh, yeah. They went absolutely nuts.
He got lit up, and if I remember correctly, he actually kind of had to step back from that because it worked so poorly for him. And then now that's exactly what Trump's doing. So, I mean, that's just another example of, the hypocrisy of the GOP. Like, they don't really give a shit what's happening as long as their side is in control.
Well, and I mean, you kind of see John right there, like, When Barack Obama said that, they said, "Oh, you're just gonna placate this dictator," which is exactly what Donald Trump has done. Like, he went down there, they shook hands, they sat together. He had the presser where he's like, "Make sure you take pictures of them, make it supposed to look thin," because he knows they're both fat little jolly bastards.
Yep.
And he walked away with his agreement for North Korea to denuclearize, and that hasn't fucking happened. Like it seems like every 2 weeks we hear about a new missile test site that we did not know about, that they did not disclose, that they are ramping up. Just yesterday there was a report in NPR was saying that we are pretty sure that one of their nuclear reactors is producing plutonium. Like, it is producing weapons grade plutonium. And like all the trolls on Facebook are like, well, I mean, Barack Obama let him do it for 30 years. It's like, yeah, but Barack Obama put sanctions on him. And, like, yeah, maybe we gave him some money, some aid. When I say money, it means aid because the fucking people in North Korea are starving. You know, you give him some aid so he'll, you know, not fire that next missile into the Gulf, you know, of Japan. And everybody stays at the status quo. Donald Trump sat down and made Kim Jong-un a legitimate player on the world stage.
Yeah,
and you can't take that back.
No, and then that also comes back to how every time I bring this up with somebody, they don't give me a decent answer. They just tell me, well, Obama did a bad thing. I'm like, okay, that's great, but he's not president anymore. He hasn't been president for a while now, so that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Donald Trump.
What exactly is that bad thing? Like, they're usually really vague on that.
Yeah.
So, John Bolton is not even going to this meeting, which I don't know how to fall on that because John Bolton would likely push the button himself. Like, if you left him alone, he would walk through the North Korean missile base until he found a button and he'd push it.
Yep.
Then he'd run back to Donald Trump and say, I told you. But yeah, so Bolton isn't going. Pompei's really skeptical about it. They're all trying to talk him down. We've heard the reports this week that is the Prime Minister of Japan nominated Donald Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. Like, all this revolves around Donald Trump wanting a Nobel Peace Prize because Barack Obama got one.
Yep.
And nothing would be more like 1,000 Christmases rubbing up against my junk is if we go through the entire 4 years of Donald Trump's first term and he's not impeached, he just loses very badly to somebody who is not white in the next election, and he never gets a Nobel Peace Prize. Maybe they give him one for leaving office. That'd be the fucking best.
Yeah, I mean, that would be, honestly, him leaving office would be a major contribution to the stability of the world. So I could see that.
Yeah. So
here's a Nobel Peace Prize. You're not fucking shit up anymore. Thanks, bud.
Yeah. Well, we say that, but do you think Donald Trump is going to delete his Twitter and go into exile when he loses that election? No.
Well, no, but when
every 60 seconds, he's going to be like, you know what, President Elizabeth Warren, or whoever the fuck it is, she did this one thing I didn't like.
Well, good for you. He's not president. Like, nobody.
Well.
And it'll be real funny to see that happen. And I guarantee you're going to see a bunch of people who support him now, as soon as he's not president, just start talking mad shit about him.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I don't remember which Democratic congressman it was, but he had an open letter to the GOP recently, and the crux of it was basically like, hey, almost all of you have come to me in private and expressed your misgivings about this guy. Yeah. But then when the time comes, you don't nut up. You still agree with him. So I imagine once he's not in power, he's going to say a lot of stupid shit. Excuse me. But it's not going to have as much weight. Now, what I would love to see is for Donald Trump to start tweeting some bullshit and get too big for his britches and then throw up some security classified information on Twitter after he's not president, and then his ass just goes right to jail for that.
Oh, yeah. That'd be good. Yeah. That was Adam Schiff, Democratic leader of the House Intelligence Committee. And that's a good point, because there are a lot of people that are quote unquote on background saying how crazy this shit is in the White House, and as soon as this president's term is over, whether it's 1 or 2, people are going to flock to publishers.
Oh yeah, it's going to be the flood of books is going to be obnoxious.
Yeah, oh, it will be obnoxious, and the ones I want to hear about are the ones that are like the chief of staff books.
Yeah, those will be fun.
Because those people are really the gatekeepers, and they're the ones that supposedly are supposed to keep just random dipshits, from going in there. I mean, that's why what's her name, Manigal, Omarosa. That's why she was given the boot, because she would go into the White House, and because they had such a familiar relationship from The Apprentice, she would just go into the Oval Office where you're supposed to go through several layers of people, and she would just go in there and present the president, Donald Trump, with this articles that she knew would wind him up to a certain thing that she wanted to focus on. And it was just killing Priebus. Like, Reince Priebus, it was just killing Priebus. And when Kelly took over, he just put a stop to that, because he's like, I can't deal with this woman, because he would just, they would basically ruin a day for the president. Because if you tell him that if you show him some Axios article that says Donald Trump is a big pussy when it comes to immigration, all he's gonna do is watch Fox News and tweet at Fox and Friends about how he's the Terminator when it comes to brown people or something just equally ridiculous, and they would just lose a day. So that's the thing. Those are the guys I want to hear a book from.
Yeah, the ones that I can't imagine I'll be able to keep up with all the dumb bullshit that starts dropping once he's not president anymore. And I mean, in all honesty, I hope it doesn't go too far, because that's the last thing you need, is to set the precedent. If the president is unpopular, then as soon as he's out of office, you can just say whatever you want about everything he did. Because some of that shit shouldn't be public, like the stuff about that may be related to like troop safety and things like that. So people might
technically all that stuff. If you're going to publish a book, like if you were the White House chief of staff and you publish a book, technically your book goes through an FBI pre-clearance.
Well, I'm more talking about people firing shit off on Twitter and on social media, because that doesn't get and even if it is,
that's real-time nonsense.
Yeah, it's real-time nonsense. That's more what I'm thinking about. But
well, that's exactly what Donald Trump will do. I think you're 100% right. Yeah, I think I'm like, well, you know what? When I got this report in 2017, and they're like, God damn it.
Well, when I was president, I did this super secret operation that was very successful, but I wasn't allowed to tell you about it. Mr. President, there that time that you still kept. All right, sir, you gotta they can't do that.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of things that are gonna fuck over the president, we're told we were gonna have a report from Robert Mueller. We did not get a report from Robert Mueller.
Well, no, let's be clear here. No, this was nothing official. This was literally people that are just familiar with. Like this was literally started by people seeing them wheeling files out of the office. Like that's what this was. There's no, because I've heard a lot of people be like, oh, see, the left got excited for nothing. They thought the Mueller said there was a report. Now there isn't one. He can't be like, no. It was literally just like people in that part of the building saw some shit and were like, hey, this sometimes in other situations could mean this is going to happen. So
right.
That's one of those things that when that came, like I said, I don't think that's how it's going to work. I think you're just going to wake up one morning and find out he dropped it.
Well, I think it would,
or gave it to the Department of Justice, or however that works, because it's not like a public. Like, just to be clear, this is not something that once he's done, he just puts it on a website and you can read it.
Yeah. So what
honestly, it's probably really uninteresting too.
Actually, no. Shay is batting 1,000 here. He might have a girl's name, but he is batting 1,000. In that. The reports for this were that Robert Mueller was passing files out of the office, delegating different investigations to different parts of the Department of Justice and different states attorney generals and things of that nature. So everybody's like, oh, he's here in town, and then they and then people like you said, like people close to the investigation said it was going to drop. So then everybody got in like hyperdrive about what it could mean. And Shay is also 100% right in that it is not going to be the big fucking Thor's hammer that everybody wants it to be. The report is given to the Attorney General. It is a confidential report because it is a counterintelligence report. So Shay is, what you said is like, it's going to be boring as fuck. It's not going to be a report that says Donald Trump is guilty or Donald Trump is innocent. It's going to be a very detailed report of the ins and outs of the Trump campaign's contacts with Russia, with Russian entities, with people who had been in touch. It's going to be a very convoluted, very complicated fucking report that's going to be given to William Barr, our new Attorney General, and then he gets to decide what part of it is then given to Congress. And again, the guy with the girl's name is right in that it's not going to be like a hammer drop. It's not a federal indictment. It's up to Congress to either impeach or not impeach because.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that I think keeps getting lost. Like, this is not a criminal investigation; it's a counterintelligence investigation.
Yeah.
Now, the other side of that is that there's I honestly I think, like, if I'm talking like leftist cuck wet dream, the most realistic scenario is that there's gonna be a section of that report, like, you're gonna basically see, okay, Donald Trump probably didn't direct, like, there is no tape of Donald Trump sitting down with Putin and Putin
Yeah,
going, you want to
there's no
collude?
email.
And he's like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, at least
there's no email
I don't
between
think
the
so.
two of them, or I mean, Donald Trump doesn't email, which also that's an anomaly. Like, how do we have a president in the year 2019 that doesn't know how to fucking use email? But whatever.
Yeah, honestly, I think that the most hilarious thing will be what'll happen is it doesn't directly implicate Donald Trump, but he'll have a lot of really good evidence to say like, hey, listen, Donald Trump didn't collude with the Russians, but they absolutely wanted him to win. And they absolutely did everything they could to help. So if there's people out there questioning the validity of how the election played out, that's something worth looking into. And then people also forget that like the shit with Michael Cohen, the shit in the state of New York, the shit with his campaign, his inaugural campaign, none of that is related to this.
Oh yeah.
So like there's going to be like the next couple of years for him are going to be like report after report after report. I do worry that people on the left who are blowing their load too early are going to make everyone look real stupid, because if there's nothing in it that we don't really already know, or no big smoking gun of any kind, it's going to make people look real dumb. Which is why I get so frustrated when people kind of fetishize it and talk about how like, oh yes, it's going to drop and they're going to arrest him the next day. And like, no, it's probably it's going to be really uninteresting. It's going to be like how they nailed Al Capone on his taxes. Like,
well, that's actually people like, but I agree. Like that's very annoying, because those are people that don't understand how the gears of our judicial system work, especially as it pertains to the executive branch. You can't just arrest the president because of the Justice Department amendment. Well, that's up in the air.
Yeah, that's not nowhere in the Constitution does it say you can't indict a sitting president. And remember, the Justice ruling that was based off of, for people who aren't familiar, was written by a dude who was working for one Tricky Dick Nixon at the time. So
right.
It was,
exactly. So the ruling everybody leans on when they say that you can't indict a sitting president is that the Justice Department wrote a memo saying that you can't indict during the Nixon administration and Watergate. That has been widely criticized and said that, but I also understand, excuse me, I also sign the flip coin of that. You can't have a sitting president of the United States open to any fucking litigation from any fucking in.
Yeah, no,
you just can't let Joe Bob from Wisconsin sue the president because fucking the price of natural ice went up 8 cents or whatever. You just can't have that. So yeah, there's a yin and yang to this. But what Shay is saying is very correct in that these people will fetishize the fact that when the report drops, Donald Trump goes to jail, and that's not how it happens. It goes to the Congress, and the Congress has to vote to impeach, and then it goes to the Senate, and the Senate has to vote 2/3 to impeach and remove him from office. That didn't fucking happen when Clinton lied about getting a blowjob, so it's sure as fuck not going to happen now. But I think Shay is right in that there's like a bunch of options. Like it's going to be like, I do not. First of all, it's not going to say collusion because that's not a crime. It's going to say something along the lines of conspiracy.
Yeah.
So your options are like Trump conspired with Russia, like Shay said, or Trump did or didn't explicitly conspire with Russia, but everybody fucking around him did, which I think is going to be a much more likely state of affairs. Like all the fucktards around him conspired with Russia, but nobody talked to him directly, or they can't prove that anybody talked to him directly, which would make more sense. And then they're going to come about, maybe something about obstruction of justice. He did or didn't obstruct justice. I think it's pretty clear he obstructed justice, but whatever. I'm just a drunk guy with a podcast. And then the last thing they could say is like, Trump is totally innocent of all charges, and all you libtards are wrong. Like that could be the headline of the New York Times. I can totally see that in my head. And then every MAGA chode, every uncle that you have that texts and emails you in all caps is gonna be like, "See, I told you."
Yeah, I mean, well, and that's the thing. It's like what's amazing about this is so many people don't seem to care. Like people think, like ideally, I don't understand why people think. I don't want to find out that the president of the United States was colluding with Russia. I want that report to come out and say like, no, he didn't do it. But all of his administration are shady as fuck, and they did all this other shit we found out about. Like the last thing I want to find out is that's part of the reason he won the presidency. Like that's not a good thing. That doesn't make me happy to find that out.
Oh
no. So like, and it's the other thing too is like nobody and the part of this is, this is, and say what you will about him, but the man is good at marketing. That's the only reason he has any money is because he's marketed his name as a luxury item. So he's made this like a marketing slogan where all he talks about is no collusion, no collusion. So people are of the opinion like that they get focused on that and they say, well, if there's no collusion, he's fine, and they don't pay attention that he has surrounded himself with the criminals. Like that every aspect of his life is steeped with corruption and felonies and shady bullshit. But as long as there's no proof that he got a handy from Vladimir Putin, they don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because I think that will be the hammer he wants to drop. He has said no collusion, no collusion, no collusion, and since collusion is not a statute in the federal line, of course Robert Mueller's report is not going to come back and say collusion. It's going to say Donald Trump surrounded himself with a bunch of fucking felons that were grifters and were really upset when he won the election, because then they were under more scrutiny than they wanted to be, and then shit like that is going to happen. The flip side of that coin is that all, like you said before, all these investigations in the states and Southern District of New York, like, those aren't going away.
No.
He can't pardon himself, the Trump organization, or the Trump Foundation from any of that shit. And so there's some money laundering problems. There's some tax evasion problems.
Is the investigation into his inaugural campaign, is that on a state or federal level? Is that the Southern District of New York looking into it, or is that the feds?
I want to say both.
Yeah.
I think that was an investigation that was open.
Honestly, I think that might be in the end game. If there's a state investigation into those funds, which I could see how there would be, like, that's going to be real bad, because even just on its surface, you've got all these people who run political campaigns saying like, yo, we raised like 1/3 of what he did and had twice as many events. So why did he get all this money and where did it go?
Yeah. Yeah. What Shay's pointing out to is the fact that Donald Trump's first inaugural campaign raised $107 million to Barack Obama's like 53.
Yeah, and they had way more events than the Trump campaign. Yeah, so where did that money go?
They had a lot more events. They had a lot more pricey talent. Like, I mean, Barack Obama had Jay-Z and Beyonce in a concert at the Lincoln Memorial. Donald Trump had a similar concert that had like 5 country bands that nobody can fucking name if you put a gun to their head. No. And he charged, I believe the Jay-Z and Beyonce concert was like $6 million, something like that. And they charged $20 for the random yokel concert. And everybody's like, really?
Yeah, there's a lot of shady shit going on in there.
The big red flag is that apparently $26 million was given to a planning company that was created a month before the inauguration or some bullshit like that. And the CEO of the company was a friend of Ivanka. So Ivanka's friend created a company right before the inauguration, was just handed a truckload of cash, and then the company just dissolved straight after that.
That's not shady at all.
Yeah, because that's how you do banking, right? Yeah. So I don't know. It's like you said, it's not going to be the nail in the coffin that every Bernie bro wants it to be, but it will be the slow, meticulous, just taking apart of the Trump Foundation, the Trump organization. And one upshot, Shay, when there was when people announced that there was going to be a Mueller report, I was like, oh man, are we not going to indict Don Jr.? One of the reports I'm seeing is that the reason it was delayed is that they're investigating Don Jr. So, fingers crossed.
Honestly, I would rather see his kids get nailed to the wall than him.
Well, there's just
on a personal like spite.
Oh yeah,
like I just love fucking mouth breathers.
Pure venom. Yeah. There's talk that old Don Jr. wants to run in 2024 for the Republican nomination, and I can't wait. Because that guy has the most dumb and racist Twitter that I have ever seen.
And listen, guys, anyone who actually listens to this podcast from start to finish, first of all, I'm sorry about that. Second of all, man, if you think Donald Trump is stupid, you should read some of the dumb shit his fucking kid says. Like, he is very clearly desperate for the approval of his dad. And he's very clearly, just like Donald Trump, riding his dad's coattails and has done nothing himself of note. And, like, I can't imagine, like, if he ran for president, the shit that would come up that he has said during his dad's campaign and presidency. Oh my God. It's fucking. I mean, there'll be people listening that'll go, "Well, Trump said he grabs women by their pussy, and that didn't affect him." And I understand that, but like, honestly, like, say what you will about Donald Trump, the man does know how to be charming sometimes when it counts. Like, a lot of what you'll hear about him is that the dude you meet one-on-one, if he's in a good mood and he likes you, is actually very like charismatic guy when he's on the ball and he's well rested and had a couple Big Macs. He boofs a Big Mac and he's good to go. His son has none of that. Like, every appearance I've ever seen his son in is just fucking mouth breathing weirdo. He kind of reminds me of a version of Sid from Toy Story, but in a fucking suit. Like the kid that, Sid. Yeah, he's so creepy and weird and awkward, and like he's always got his mouth open with those big teeth, and he's just such a fucking wanker. And
wait, are you talking about Don Jr. or
Eric? Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. But Don Jr. specifically, but either one of them. Eric, I think, is even worse than him. He's so goofy looking, but.
Eric actually said the other day, it was a couple days ago, he was on Fox News, shocker. He was on Fox News and said, you know what, talking about the Green New Deal and Democrats, new push towards more leftist policies where, maybe we should pay for college for everybody. So we don't have the, the actual knuckle dragging mouth breathers that listen to Fox, maybe we should just educate some fucking people.
Which, by the way, those ideas with the population as a whole, they pull pretty well.
Oh yeah, pull better than anything Donald Trump's doing. But Eric Trump was like, you know what? What made America great is people working for stuff, not just being handed anything.
I'm sorry.
You need to work for what you get.
Who said that?
He said that, Eric Trump.
Oh, okay.
With a straight fucking face.
Was he leaning on his tractor from his very expansive farm that he works off of? Experience,
his whole resume is worked for dad.
Yeah,
that's it. That's start fucking finish. So, yeah, no, I can't.
I bet that dickbag couldn't even write a resume up.
Oh,
I'm sure he could. I doubt he knows how. He's probably never had to.
No, I'm sure he could, Shay, and I'm sure it has about 19 words in it.
Yeah, did work for dad. Did work good. Got raised in allowance.
Yeah. All right. Now. Did you ever listen to that Chapo's Trap House I sent you? You need to listen. They have one about Eric and they have one about Don Jr. and they are fucking funny. Well, the thing they said about Eric that got me giggling so hard in the office, people asked if I was okay, was they said that his mouth always looks so wet that they think that he sleeps with a ring pop in his mouth.
That's gross.
I was like, I don't know how you come up with that, but that's fucking disturbing. All right, I think it's about time for an intermission. We'll take a break. Everybody's going to get some more thought juice, and we'll be right back. All right, everybody, we are back. We have our brain juice. Speaking of stupid, Shay and I were talking a little unrecorded section of stupid shit in our life. Shay, Roger Stone has apparently gone one more step towards just dunking himself into prison. Have you seen this?
Jeez, are you talking about the picture that judge tweeted? Jesus Christ. Okay, so here's the thing with that. Man, I honestly do believe that he tweeted that not noticing or thinking about the fact that because that logo in the background near the crosshairs
blown way out of proportion.
Yeah, because it's literally just the logo of a conspiracy website. Exactly. It's I can't remember what it's called, but it's just part of the logo, just like the bullseye is part of the Target logo.
Dipshits.com, whatever.
Yeah, dipshit, dumb shit, dumb. But the thing is it is incredible. The man, I would argue, Roger Stone is not a stupid man. He's evil, but he's not dumb necessarily. And it is astounding to me that he threw that up on the internet without any idea that people would have a problem with it. And there's no way you can't just say oh, it's just a logo and not sound like you're full of shit, especially since the comment itself was so aggressively attacking her.
Yeah. So for those of you who haven't seen Roger Stone's tweet, Roger Stone was given a soft gag order, meaning that he could not talk about his case in front of if I'm not mistaken, in front of the courthouse steps. Yeah.
Courthouse steps. He couldn't talk about it from the courthouse steps.
He couldn't walk out there, flash the Nixon peace sign, and then tell everybody about how he and Alex Jones and InfoWars are being, systematically censored. Whatever.
This is your daily reminder that we are on more podcast mediums than Alex Jones and InfoWars.
Yes, we are on almost every podcast medium and provider that Alex Jones is not. fuck him and all his shtick. But yeah, so that was a soft gag order he got, and then he posted this picture, which, like Shay said, had what looked to appear a picture of the federal judge overseeing his trial for perjury and witness tampering. And he had posted this picture on Twitter, and there was what looked like a gun sight over her, I guess it would be her right shoulder, but it was, like Shay said, blown way the fuck out of proportion. But also, why would you do anything like that with a very, the words of the tweet clearly attack the federal judge that's overseeing your, this is where discretion gets you everything. Like,
this is not the first time he's been through this. Dude worked for the Nixon administration. He knows what this shit is about. Like,
well, and also he was a political pariah. There was nobody in Republican politics since Nixon that would touch Roger Stone until Donald Trump came around, because they knew that this is how this motherfucker operated.
Yeah, and I mean, and he, that fucking guy, he, he has he's like a cartoon supervillain, because like he's this horrible person, but then like has all these weird quirks about him. Like he's almost like a really shitty Bond villain that got left on the cutting room floor of the editing. Like he's just such a weird, like he fascinates me. I love reading about Roger Stone because he's such a fucking weird guy.
Yeah, because he's like, I want to kill every Democrat in the world. So
legalize pot.
To legalize, so that I can legalize pot. Like,
yeah, it's so weird.
Like he has that, like the second half of many of his sentences are so strange. But the fact is that he's been fundraising on this whole indictment for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
No, like 2 solid years. Like RogerStoneDefense.com has been up for 2 solid years, I think. And you keep hearing these stories in the news that he is like destitute and can't pay his rent, doesn't have money for haircuts or put food on the table. And I don't give a shit. Sell some of those pinstripe soups, you bastard.
I really think this is just another example. I mean, and it makes it even weirder because, like, when Donald Trump gets upset because everybody's looking into his finances, I actually understand that, because up until now he's been in positions of power, but no positions of power that have public accountability. So he's not really used to having people turn his shit over and look at look in all of his closets and under all the rocks. That is not Roger Stone. Roger Stone knows how this works.
Yeah, Roger Stone.
So it's amazing that he would do shit like this and be. I mean, I'm sure he's not surprised. I imagine he did that. I wouldn't be surprised if he did that, thinking it would get him good publicity, and then he'd get away with it. And the judge was like, "Hell no."
Yeah. Well, there was a small sliver of possibility he could have just been thrown in the clink that day if bond would have been revoked. That would have been
so funny.
Because the same judge that's overseeing his court hearings is the one that just tossed Manafort in jail for witness tampering.
Yeah.
Like just revoked his bail. Donald Trump, like you said, I agree with you. Donald Trump has been in positions of power, and he's never had to deal with the federal government having the legal justification to just crawl up his ass. Like, he's always been able to be like, you know what, fuck you, sue me. And then people sue him, and that usually works for people who have the money and the lawyers on hand to run the lawsuit, and Donald Trump also has paid out a lot of people. Whenever he's really fucked up, he's like, all right, here's $100,000, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's not going to work with the federal government. You're not going to be like, you can't go to the district attorney of Southern District of New York and be like, all right, how about I peel you off $200,000 and you make this all go away? Like,
yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm sorry I stiffed you on that tile job. Here's $200,000. Shut the fuck up. It's not how that works. So, I am waffling. I'm on a razor's edge whether I want Alex Jones and Roger Stone to continue on until I die or they die, which is they're going to die before I am, clearly. You can't do that much peyote and bone broth and live through it.
I want to see Roger Stone and Alex Jones go to jail and be cellmates, and we'll make it a reality TV show.
Well, I honestly I love InfoWars because it's a 3-hour sketch comedy that does not know it's a 3-hour sketch comedy.
Yeah.
But if it got shut down tomorrow, I would honestly enjoy it being shut down more than anything else. Like,
oh yeah,
it'd be fantastic. Yeah. So speaking of asshats that need to be shut down, we've got a little bit more information on something that we've talked about before on the podcast, but I didn't want to get into because we didn't know what the hell was going on, and that's the ninth district of North Carolina. And Shay, the Republicans have found some voter fraud. The problem was
They did it.
They were the frauds.
Well, then before it, it is technically election fraud, which is different.
All right, yeah.
But
all
yeah,
right.
yeah, it is different, but it's still
A little
fraud.
bit of legalese there.
Yeah, well, it's so what's funny about it is I've seen people argue like, well, they're not saying anything about it because it's not voter fraud, it's election fraud, and that's different. I'm like, okay,
They were
fine, you're
fucking
technically,
ballots.
yeah, go fuck yourself, dude. Like that
Yeah.
shit is so funny, and it's what amazes me about it is like honestly, having another election seems totally reasonable. If you're not
yeah.
sure about the results, just let everybody vote again, and if he wins a second time, go for it. But the fact that the dude is being allowed to run again is insane.
Yes, and yeah, that is insane. I don't think he's going to run again. Actually,
Did he? Because the last I had heard, the dude that won the election that had done it was still planning to be in the race for it again.
Yeah. Okay. So
but that was like a week ago.
Yeah. So let's do a little wrap up here for everybody who does not pay attention to the news like we do. People who wait for the Woodscast to give them their news.
That's a mistake.
Yeah, y'all fucked up there. But anyway. So the 9th District of North Carolina was between, I had it right here, damn it. Mark Harris was the candidate, was the Republican candidate, and he was running against the Democrat Dan McCready. And Mark Harris won the election by about 900 votes. But there were a lot of irregularities in the absentee ballots in several counties. And it turns out that Mark Harris had hired a guy named Leslie McCrae. I'm gonna fuck this up, Shay. Leslie McCrae Dowless, MCRAE McCrae.
I think so.
Okay, so Leslie McCrae Dowless as a get out the vote operative. Now, what he apparently did, and this is before the election board of North Carolina, they refused to. So there's all these discrepancies in the voter turnouts, and there's a big swing in absentee ballots for the Republican candidate in the 9th districts. So what this I'm gonna lose these names. I got to scroll up and down. Crowless did. Lost it. Yeah, Dallas. I'm sorry. What Dallas did was he was known for being kind of an election fixer and monkeying with these absentee ballots. So what he apparently did was he did it in 2 steps. Like apparently he used the absentee ballot registrations or applications. So if somebody had applied for an absentee ballot, he knew that they wanted one. So he sent his operatives out with a pre-filled ballot to a person who had requested an absentee ballot. So, like, if you requested an absentee ballot, Shay, I show up with one that's signed out for Elizabeth Warren or whatever, and you're like, what the fuck? But, I mean, that's got to work in, like, maybe 1 out of 3 people. So they just flooded the zone with already filled out absentee ballots. The second stage of it, that was phase 1. Phase 2 was for phase 1, they say that at least 780 absentee request forms were allegedly submitted by Dallas or his workers. So they went out with pre-filled out absentee ballots, got people to sign them, and then brought them back. There's 800 votes. Phase 2 was to go to people who had not submitted their absentee ballots and act as I guess they just basically acted as election officials and say that, like, we'll take them for you when absentee ballot should be mailed back to the election headquarters of the candidate. I'm sorry, to the voting place. It's supposed to go through the mail. And so phase 2 was they would go out and collect absentee ballots that were either unsigned or unfilled out from people. Like, they would say, just sign it, we'll fill it in for you, and then take the absentee ballot. And so they could fill it out however they wanted to. Or if it was signed and filled out in a way they didn't want to, they would alter it so it made it the way they wanted to. And then once they had collected all these ballots,
or just destroy it was my understanding.
If they couldn't fake it, they would just destroy it. And then so now this guy Dallas had like 3 or 4 people working for him, and they were doing all this shit. And then so now they've got all these ballots that they have either altered or falsified. And then they mailed them back to the election officials like they're supposed to be done, but they did them in small batches from post offices in the areas they collected them. So they kept them in separate stacks. So like if you just for the sake of argument, we collect a bunch of absentee ballots from Cabell County, from around the Huntington High area, and then we falsify them to make Shay the dog catcher. Then we make sure we throw them into a mailbox that's near Huntington High, so it doesn't, But they did it little bits at a time. They just didn't put 1,000 in at once, so they all showed up at once. So this is a very systematic and planned woo-fuckery that helped out the Republican candidate to eke out a win. And since then, like you say, Shay, he has said he himself has called for a new election. The election board of North Carolina has ruled there should be a new election. And the nail in the coffin was his son, who's also a lawyer in North Carolina, said that he had warned his dad and his mother about hiring this guy because all the things they were doing were illegal.
Yeah, it's so fucking crazy, and I love how there's people trying to defend. I mean, but this comes back to Mitch McConnell saying that letting as many people vote as possible is a power grab. So there's so many people that I've seen just casually on social media that are like, "Oh, it's a Democratic power grab. They shouldn't do an election." I'm like, man, I just don't understand that. How is that a problem at all? If you're letting everybody vote again, then that's totally fine. It sucks that district doesn't have any representation right now.
Yeah, so McCready has said he will, of course, run in this new special election. Mark Harris has, at the last I looked at it, and we could go, maybe you can Google it while I'm talking right now, but Mark Harris said there was some kind of a medical issue, and he may not run again.
Had okay, that's the difference. I'd forgotten about that. He had something with, it was like a stroke or something similar, and he has memory trouble now. And originally that had popped up when people were asking him questions about the time about all this going down.
When he knew and what he knew it, yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, I don't know because I had a brain thing, and I don't know if it sounds like that's. I'm not going to say it's a convenient out. It is convenient, but he did have an issue.
Right, yeah, he very well
that is true. Yeah, no,
Shay and I just do not know if he. I mean, he very well could have had a stroke, and Shay and I just haven't seen that article yet. Yeah, and that's very. I mean, my wife has had a stroke. It's something that takes time to come back from. Like, if that happened, like, we don't, we're not hating on him for that. But he has said because of a medical issue, he may not run again. The eyes of North Carolina in the Republican field are falling on the former congressman from that district who Harris ousted, not surprisingly, with some very suspicious shenanigans during the primary as well. Also with this Dallas guy. So, god damn it. I mean, like, this sucks, and I'm glad that they have a new election plan. I mean, because that's like you said, that's the silver bullet. Just let everybody fucking vote again.
Yeah, just do it. Just fucking
let everybody fucking vote again. But once again, I have to ask very clearly and very confidently, if conservatism as a whole and GOP policies are so star-spangled goddamn awesome, why is the Republican Party so fucking afraid of a fair and free election?
Well, yeah, no, that's because the more people that vote, the less chance they have of winning. They know that as well.
Yeah, well, they knew that back in the fucking 80s.
Yeah, that was that's the thing, and I mean, that's the only logical explanation for it. Is that if you're worried you're not going to win, so that's why you don't want people to vote again. But it sucks to be you, buddy. I mean, that's. Well, nobody said democracy was easy, bro.
Yeah, well, nobody said democracy was easy. Nobody said democracy was cheap. And all the people that, like, they'll use this as an example, they're like, well, exactly what voter ID law that the Republican Party is fucking dry humping America with would this have fixed? Like, yeah, please tell me that.
Yeah, but it's fucking, it just really sucks because it's being used as a political tool for people that have a staked interest in it, and the only people that are really truly getting hurt are the people of North Carolina.
Yeah,
like that's all these
anyway.
Yeah, all these people involved. Like I fully expect a Republican to win no matter what. It's North Carolina, and that's fine. But like, it sucks because like homeboy may not win the election again or run again, but he's probably just going to go back to being a somewhat wealthy. Like, it's not going to affect his life any. And are there any criminal charges or investigations going on, or is it just kind of saying it's a wash? Let's do it again?
No, that will be the next phase because this was an election board hearing. This was not a criminal charge. Like, exactly. I had a bunch of people like try to jump up my ass on the face basis in my books. They're like, oh yeah, well they're gonna if he's such a bad guy, charge him. I was like, well, first of all, this isn't a criminal hearing. And he's like, oh yeah, and because I think the phrasing of the first article is what like got all these conservatives like up at their panties in a bunch, because it said that the election board had concocted, it's a wrong word, had formed a theory of what had gone down. And so they basically told the story kind of like I did in a half-assed way of like, here was phase 1, here was phase 2, here's what the operatives for the Harris campaign did in each of these phases, blah blah blah. And people are like, oh yeah, well I hope it's more than a theory if you want to try to charge somebody. And I was like, well, if you actually read the article I posted instead of reading the headline like a goddamn knuckle dragging mongoloid, you'd read that they the 4 or 5 people, forget how many, that actually did this stuff were there and testified that they did this stuff.
Yeah, it's like, not a question. The question isn't whether they did it; it's how to go forward.
Right, like you're like, well, how do you know this woman did it? Because she stood there on the stand and said,
I fucking did it.
Yeah, like, I mean,
to quote the great Dale Gribble, they will try to pin this on us, and since we did it, they will succeed.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's just, oh god, it's gonna be one more thing. Like I had a friend the other day, try to like say that this type of stuff and voter ID laws were not a problem. He shared very specifically, he shared a report that said that voter ID law did not, it was one report that said voter ID law did not drive down minority and poor voter turnout. It said it just didn't drive down turnout. And I was like, well, okay, so that's one report, but I have like, I don't know, 6 Supreme Court rulings that say it's bullshit and targets poor and minorities with surgical precision. That was the quote from the North Carolina law when they overturned the last one. And he kept trying to come back with like, but the report says, like, yeah, you got one report. You cherry-picked this one report. And I'm telling you that these 6 states came off pre-clearance when the Republican Party didn't re-up the Voting Rights Act. And this is where all this shit comes from. Like, you can literally point to the day that the Voting Rights Act expired to when all these voter ID laws were fucking thrown into the wood chipper.
Yeah, no, and that's that's that. And honestly, I honestly take the Republican effort to suppress the vote as a death rattle of sorts, because those motherfuckers know that the lifestyle they're pushing, the political agendas they're pushing, the bases they're appealing to are shrinking. And so that's why
that many more white dudes out there.
No, and the country is getting generally more liberal. It's getting less white, and what they're doing is trying to set in things. I honestly feel like the main goal is to set in systems in place to keep things the way they are until all the old guard are dead and it doesn't matter. Like until the Koch brothers can continue to live their wonderful existence as they have as millionaires with no repercussions for anything. Because it's the same thing with stacking all the court judges. Like, so they're going to fight all this shit tooth and nail because they know, honestly, and this is, I take this as a positive thing. 50 years from now, it's not going to fucking matter because the demographics are going to shift so much. This shit's not a problem anymore. So,
they know they have lost the culture war.
Yes,
it's lost.
And so they're trying to stall and keep things the way they want it for as long as humanly possible, which is basically, in my opinion, the lifespan of people like the fucking Koch brothers.
Yeah. Well, like the Koch brothers know. Like the Koch brothers are old. They're not millennials. They know that they're not. They know that their conscience isn't going to be uploaded to the AI god that Alex Jones fucking barks about every day. Like they know they're just going to fucking.
Singularity's coming.
Yeah, yeah. The Koch brothers know they're just going to fucking die. And so, what are they doing? Why are they lobbying to make sure that the quote unquote death tax that only applies to like 4% of fucking Americans in the entire United States of America? Like, unless the place you live in is called an estate, it doesn't fucking apply to you. So calm the fuck down. The Koch brothers know that all this money they have is just going to be passed to their sibling, their kids, and you know who their kid is, Shay? It's that this fat kid named Wyatt Koch who makes boardroom shirts. Have you heard about this chuck nuts?
Oh, I feel like I've seen some mean. No, not Wyatt Earp. That guy's awesome. Let's see here. Yeah, I know this fucking guy. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So this little chubby Augustus Gloop looking motherfucker who The only reason he makes clothes like this, he makes these like colored printed shirts that he says that you can wear from the boardroom to the discoteca, because he's never been in the boardroom. It's like some kind of a caricature about what he thinks his dad does for a living. He's never had to work a day in his life.
What's funny is if you Google image search him, you can watch him get fat.
Oh yeah,
the older pictures of him, he's of a normal weight, and then toward the end, he looks more like us.
Except
he's way. Yeah, and he's actually fatter than either one of us have ever thought about being. He has no neck.
He's like 5'6", and he makes these shirts. One of the shirt prints that offends me so much is just bags of money. And of course, he says that he wants to make clothes that you can wear, like I said, from the boardroom to the discoteca. You know why?
Here's the thing, Justin. Full disclaimer: I'm looking at this chubby bitch. I would totally wear some of these shirts.
Oh, I would wear some of the shirts too.
Yeah, dude.
Do a little.
This
bit
one with fireworks on it is badass.
Yeah, how much are they, Shay?
Oh, they're not cheap. I can't afford them.
Yeah, it's like $180 for a fucking shirt. So that's the problem. Is this rich little chubby fuck saw Augustus Gloop and said, "I can do that." And then his dad, he sauntered up to his father and says, "Father, I would like to make shirts for 5 other gentlemen out there in America." And so he did it. And like, if he was any other person, any other like mid-range income family, the confidence would have just been pounded out of him in grade school. And then he would have had to actually perform to make a fucking shirt worth of shit to buy, and we'd be okay with it. But since he's just handed this like fucking shirt factory, we've got to deal with this bullshit. But yeah. But, like, that's the thing, is, like, these people are going to transfer their money to their dumb-ass fucking fail sons and fail daughters. And, yeah. Like, I actually kind of hope that, like, can't wait for the millennial millionaires to be like, "Oh, I'm not leaving my money to anybody because I'm going to need it when I'm uploaded into the cloud."
Yes.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Like, I'm going to be uploaded into a robot body, and I'm going to need upgrades and shit. So, yeah, I'm not leaving anything to my kids. Like, I can't wait for that shit. That'll be great. That'll be the millennial version of, I want to freeze my head until they can reanimate me.
Yes, which I would probably do if I could, but, you know.
Oh, yeah. Why the fuck not? Like, if I'm dead, like, freeze my head. 10 years later, shoot it out of a cannon. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Use it as one of those things you can shoot at the windscreen on a plane for a test. Wham! I'll be saving lives.
You want to test what happens when a plane hits a person? Do
it. It's a human head. Wham!
Yeah. Let's do this. All right. So the last thing I had on the agenda, I don't really want to fucking talk about. We got the Jesse Smollett, got the Sandman Kid. So Jesse Smollett faked a hate crime. I'll just say that he faked a hate crime. Fuck him.
He sucks. Yeah, and then I don't know if you had seen this, but there was I was scrolling through the Reddits earlier, and on one of the news, or no, it might not have been Reddit. It was some news aggregate website. I can't remember which one it was, but there is somebody else that has attempted to fake a hate crime as well.
And
it's one of those things that, like, I was listening to I want to say it was something on Colorado Public Radio, and the statistics are like, for every one hate crime that's faked, there's like 5,000 that aren't. So like in the last like 10 years, there've been like 48 confirmed fake hate crimes, and then like 20,000 confirmed real ones. So it is not a really big issue. It's not a thing, but now people are going to spin it and make it a thing. And even the guy I don't know if it was the New York chief of police, when he had that speech the other day, he was saying like, this is a problem because now every time somebody reports a fake hate crime, they're going to say, or they report a hate crime, they're going to accuse it of being fake, and no one's going to take it seriously anymore. And that's the real damage that's been done. And I absolutely agree with that. I hope they nail his ass to the wall.
Right. Nobody in the continental United States has been following the story about Jesse Smollett, who is the Empire actor who apparently faked not only did he fake a 2019 beating. He faked a 2019 beating. He also apparently faked a 2018 like hateful, homophobic and racist letter that was sent to the studio.
Yeah, he literally like cut letters out of a magazine, in a low budget horror movie, and mailed it to himself. It's real fucking stupid and fucking. Right.
And the other thing Shay's talking about, and I believe you're talking about the guy from Detroit. So apparently there's a guy in Detroit This is the Detroit News, so somewhere in Detroit. So there's a transgendered gay activist who had apparently... Wow, I'm looking at a bunch of different pictures here, so that's definitely the activist. Oh, that's his lawyer. That's her lawyer. Okay, his lawyer. I don't know which way she's going on this one, so I'm just going to let it go. But, yeah, so apparently a... Nikki Jolly, Joly, burned her house. Her house burned down in 2017 and killing 5 pets. And the FBI investigated as a hate crime. Apparently, it's come out that she burnt the house down herself to fabricate a hate crime. That's what you're going to see pop up in the next couple of days, because that's this new thing has brought this back. So 2 things. 1, fuck both of these people for fabricating a hate crime. Like you said, the Chicago Police Department even came out and said, like, I can't believe that an African American man would invoke the use of a noose to further his career. Like, how would you ever do that? Yeah, it's bullshit. Like, they were just fucking dunking on him left and right, and they should have dunked on him. In this story in Detroit, she killed 5 of her own dogs to pull this off. So if you guys haven't
right to the 7th layer of hell with her.
Yeah. You guys haven't figured out, Shay and I are puppy and cat people. We are pet people through and through.
Jesus Christ, Dad's cats will not leave me alone.
Yeah.
I've been fending them off this entire podcast off my keyboard, but anyway.
I don't give a shit if this person is transitioning to be the Pope. Fucking give her the chair.
Yeah, it's fucking... killing her dogs. It's already one of those things that all the talking heads on the right have latched onto, and it makes me so angry because, like, it's one of those things where people come to you and they say, see, that was fake. I'm like, okay, great, that was fake. That doesn't mean all this other shit isn't fake. Like, that doesn't mean the dude didn't run over the girl in Charlottesville. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't
the false equivalency does not hold up.
No, it does not hold up. Like, yeah, okay, and I don't know what people expect me to say. They're like, well, what do you think we should do? Like, nail his ass to the wall, throw him in.
Yeah.
Why would I? That's the same thing with, like, all the shit going down in Virginia. Like, well, do you want them to get rid of the Democrats? Yes. Like, they fucked up. Get them the fuck out. That's the point. Like, well, I don't fetishize these people and think just because they agree with me politically, I need to agree with everything they do. Like, you can be a shitty person and still vote for a Democrat, just like you can be a great person and vote for Donald Trump. Like, right. It's not like they're the worst kind of people and they need to fucking get their asses nailed to the wall. And then when I tell people that, they're almost surprised. They expect me to defend him because he votes Democrat. I don't give a shit. Fuck that guy. He hurts everyone.
Oh yeah, no. You killed 5 of your own dogs. I will actually help execute you. Like, I will stand there and I will hold 5 dogs and
I will personally shove those flaming coals up your butthole.
Yeah. What Shay was talking about earlier is the Jesse Smollett incident has given, what you said, has given right-wing talkers like Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham has said it, and Coulter just tweeted it flat out. All hate crimes are fabricated. She just said that flat out.
Yeah, that's fucking, man. Coulter, she's the worst, but
yeah, she's the worst. She literally needs to eat. Literally, just eat something. But what Shay, I'm looking at a Vice article here. Excuse me, that was published in February 21. Their math is wrong. They say that, okay, so Shay, in 2017, or right now, what we're talking about, you and I are talking about 2 instances in 2 years. So 2017, 2019. Actually, that's 3 different years. So in 3 years, 2 people that the media has latched onto have fabricated a hate crime. The FBI data says that in 2017, 7,175 people reported hate crimes. Only 23 were found to be false. In 2016, 16 of the 6,121 reported cases were found to be false. The Vice article I'm reading from says that is a point. Actually, okay. God damn it.
I'm Justin. I do math.
No. Okay. So the article, like halfway through the article where I'm talking to you from right now, says it's a 0.3%. That says it's a 0.3% rate, which means it's 0.3 of a percent of the hate crimes that have been reported in 2016 and 2017 were faked. That's actually right. I checked those numbers.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere else here in the article, it says it was .03. That's what fucked me up. I said their math was wrong. Maybe they corrected it. Yeah. But anyway, that's the point. In 2016 and 2017, only fucking what? 39 cases of fake hate crimes out of almost 23,000 hate crimes were faked.
Yeah. So it's a thing, but it's not a thing. Like it's not.
It's a thing that happens on Twitter, but it is not a thing that happens in real life. It's a statistical anomaly.
Yep.
So shut the fuck up, Sean Hannity.
Yeah. Shut your face.
Yeah. Shut your slant head face.
Fucking slant head face. Yeah. Stupid. Yeah. Oh man, that's so funny. That slant head sounds like a racist slur. It's not, but that's one of those things that yeah, that's fun.
If you look at him, his head is slanted.
I know. It's an accurate description. I'm not saying you're racist against Sean Hannity.
It's the way he does his hair. It has
it's terrible.
Legit angle to his. It's weird.
Oh,
it's weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, from here on out, like people are gonna add. Like the reason I thought this was funny is because not only like all the people who said Jesse Smollett was the victim of a hate crime, then like 10 hours later they found out they might have been wrong. Then like right when we was like everybody has to apologize right now. I'm like, I don't have to apologize for fucking shit. I didn't say shit. Like I had people direct message me, put shit on my Facebook page.
Really?
Oh yeah, because like I guess they thought since I'm a liberal Democrat, I was like 1,000% for Jesse Smollett. And then when it came out that he had fabricated this horse shit to get his pay up, they were like, "What about this motherfucker?"
Well,
what about? And I kept I didn't even respond. I just deleted it because I didn't share that story. I didn't comment on that story. My exact thought when that story like popped, I was like, "Well, that's fucked up." Like. That's fucked up. Like whatever.
That's one of those things. Like I'll tell you, I didn't even know who he was until it came out that he had faked it. Like I'd never heard the initial shit. So like
his whole plan didn't work.
Just very poor. Yeah, not executed well.
Yeah. The other side of that coin, like so, I get people in the face spaces in the my books, like direct messaging me or putting shit on my Facebook page, demanding I apologize for something I didn't say or do. Like, yeah, delete, fuck you.
Nope, that's not going to work.
Eat a bag of dicks. The other one, just because we're musing, we both had a couple beers and we're musing about things that make us not happy. Nicholas Sandman, the quintessential Covington Catholic kid from the encounter several weeks ago.
Yes.
He and his family are suing the Washington Post for $250 million.
$250 million?
Yes. They are saying they are saying that the Washington Post bullied Nick Sandman, and they are eyeing other celebrities who have not retracted their statements about what he did or did not do.
And this is coming right before there's a chance that they may relook at some libel decision. Yeah, dude, that's convenient.
Yeah, it's convenient. It's also convenient that $250 million. Let's just not gloss over the fact that the Washington Post is owned by Jeff Bezos, who is a constant and often target by the President of the United States. $250 million was the exact amount he paid for the Washington Post.
I would love it if just to shut him up, Bezos was like, I don't know, man. Here's $50 million. Just go away. Like I don't want to deal with you anymore, because to him that's fucking nothing. Even $250 is like.
Yeah, well, actually, I think the last number I heard was like 150 some $1 billion, which now has to split with his ex-wife because they're going through a divorce. They don't have a prenup.
Awesome.
Yeah, so let's say the dude's rocking $75 billion. I would say yes. I agree with Shay. Like write him a check. Write this family a check for $50 million, but then stipulate that they have to go out on camera and say like, yeah, we were pricks.
Yeah.
Like something, just something petty. Because like here's the thing.
Dance.
Dance puppet dance. When I read this article that said that the MAGA hat wearing kid was going to sue for $250 million because he was bullied by a paper. Like, then I clearly, don't understand the word bullying. Because seriously. I don't think the Washington Post showed up at his house and shoved him in the dirt.
No, I would love to see what that means, like in terms, like in the court case.
Right. And two, my initial, like, right after that comment, I thought, well, stay triggered, snowflake. Like, whatever happened about, personal liability. Let's not forget that this kid was filmed being a dick. Like, I have never said he was racist. Shay and I have never said he's racist on this podcast.
Just a dick.
I believe we said he was a self-entitled little prick. Yeah. And we stand by that. I stand by that. So this little dick was filmed being a dick while at a pro-life rally that he was
I want to know where that number comes from. Like 250 million?
Oh, they just picked a number out of the hat because that would make them all happy for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So this little prick was filmed being a prick at a pro-life rally that he was bused to by his Catholic school. Like, you went to a pro-life rally and then are suddenly, like, butthurt that you got put on camera for having a stance about something? Fuck the fuck off.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can't. Like, I can't march down the street in a KKK outfit saying that the reason that black people are dumb is because genetic abnormalities between whites and blacks, and that we should just, exterminate all of them because that's what basically Jordan Peterson and all of his ilk think. I can't march with those fuckers. And then later, when you put it on TV, be like, wait a minute, they're slandering me because they're showing the things I did on camera. Like, I had an unpopular opinion that they then showed everybody.
I'd be curious to see what they do with it in terms of, like, because they're going to have to be able to prove that there's some opportunity or damages, like there's some opportunity the kid didn't get, or there's damage. Like, they're going to have to be able to prove that this shit hurt them. And I would be, other than people saying mean things on the internet, which is not worth $250 million a year of money. Like, but again, this is it's one of those lawsuits that they're filing for 250 because they're hoping Jeff Bezos will give them a few $1 million out of court because he can find that in his fucking couch cushions. So, that's all it is.
What I think they want is they want somebody to say that they were butthurt and acknowledge I'm butthurt.
Exactly, and then and they want money.
Yeah, like they want money. Like you were bussed to a pro-life event, so you clearly you were clearly okay with being outside and filmed and recorded on a controversial topic. This precise interaction made you look like a dick. And the media outlets reported that you looked like a dick, and now you want to sue because you looked like a dick. It's really funny. And the funny thing is, they only sued the Washington Post, whereas Fox News and 1,000 other outlets reported the exact same fucking thing. Oh, and they're not suing them at all.
No, of course, because they're not liberal cucks.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, Shay. I want to hear what fucking being bullied by a paper is. I want to also know that, and I even said this. I even said this. I'll admit to this. Like, when I saw this kid being quote unquote assaulted by a drum being beaten near him, and he looked to just revel in it because everybody understands what white privilege is. Like, if you don't understand that these kids felt that they had the white privilege to just stand there and do that, then you're kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But when that happened, I was like, man, I hope he has a college lined up and he just gets fucking dunked on. I hope it's some fucking liberal-ass college out in fucking New Hampshire somewhere, and he was wanting to study something just random and then go to Liberty and practice law. And they're like, you know what, fuck stick, no. Like, I would love for that just to evaporate and him be like, oh, I had to scramble for one of my safety schools. Like, well, shit happens, buddy.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the rest of the world.
Yeah, welcome to the rest of the world. Where our parents don't pay, I think it was $15,000 a year for a tuition.
Jesus Christ.
That's high school, Shay.
Yeah, high school. Oof. Wankers.
All right, that's about it. I think we should wrap this up.
I agree. I could go. I've got things to smoke and TV shows to watch.
I also have things to drink that I don't need to drink and shows to watch. For those of you who have not watched last week tonight with John Oliver, this week's episode was about psychics, and I am my pants are tight to listen to him just fucking rail on psychics because it seems like such low-hanging fruit, but why have you not done this before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Like we say every week, and I think Shay will agree with me, we enjoy doing the shit out of this. Shay?
Yep.
It's fun. It's funner than fuck.
Yeah.
Not only do I get to talk to my little brother here, but we get to shoot the shit about stuff, and we solve problems here. We really do.
We're still working on the energy crisis, but we'll have that shit wrapped up next week.
We bring the world together. We make enemies scissor with each other.
Oh man, if you're just two dude enemies scissoring, all that is smashing your balls.
It's just nut on nut.
Yeah, that's no good.
That's how
nobody
get through this North Korean thing.
Yeah, I know that we don't have to worry about North Korea because I rub my balls on Kim Jong-un's balls. That's what he's gonna say.
Yeah. Oh my god, I might have to kill myself for that actually, if that's ever said, but alright. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, Dale said to Roy, if you guys want to get a hold of us, you should. You should be able to find this podcast everywhere you find podcasts that aren't Alex Jones. SoundCloud, Google Play, iTunes, the whole spiel, YouTube. We're on Twitter. It's at WoodsCastThe. And then on Facebook, it's WoodsCast1776. And of course, like I always promote, and if somebody will email me and say that they are a man with the name of Shay, we will dedicate some serious time. We'll even put you on the podcast if you want to come on. So email us at thewoodscast1776@gmail.com. We hope to hear from somebody else that does not have a girl's name.
Yeah.
I had to listen to like 3 minutes of how much prettier you were than me.
That's true. But that's just good journalism.
I don't think that's. I think you keep using that word.
That's just
I don't think you know what it means,
dude. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Shay, say
Toodles.
goodbye to nice people. A rubber band man, just moving, just moving, just moving, 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 just